What's up guys, I'm KBHD here, and these are my quick first impressions of the new big smartphones that Samsung announced today. The main one you need to know about is the Galaxy Note 5. It is big, it's bright, crispy, it's really dense, and slippery as hell. So here's the breakdown. Just like every year, the Galaxy Note gets improvements on the inside and out, and right off the bat, on the inside, on paper, the Galaxy Note 5 has a pretty dope looking spec sheet. So it's the octa-core Exynos 7420 chip from the Galaxy S6. It's a bump up to 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's a 5.7-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display that looks pretty outstanding. It's a 16-megapixel camera with optical image stabilization and the f1.9 aperture. And it's a 3000 mAh battery with fast charging and wireless charging and NFC and LTE advanced and AC Wi-Fi, etc. It's even a new color with this sweet-looking titanium gray. It's a very complete-looking spec sheet on paper. But in practice, it's not all perfect. So the main story with the Note 5 is on the outside, obviously. The biggest change here is in the hardware design. It's moved, as we kind of expected, into this all metal and glass, thin-railed look like the Galaxy S6. And Samsung says, premium materials, high-end, precise build, durable, etc. And they've even curved the glass on the back of the phone to fit better in one hand. So that actually works well. And to top it all off, it fits inside the footprint of the Galaxy Note 4. Since the bezels make it thinner and shorter and narrower than its predecessor. I agree that the shape is better. The shape is actually great, but the phone itself is super slippery in the hand. It's just not really that comfortable to hold. It's like all the things that were slippery about the Galaxy S6 with that glossy back magnified in an even bigger body. Just the feel in the hand is, I guess, definitely my least favorite part of this phone. That and the fact that you now have all the internals sealed, meaning there's no removable battery, and there's also no expandable storage. Those two things will be a pretty big deal for some people. I don't mind them as much, but I actually do care a lot about the way it feels in the hand. There's also some pretty neat new features, though, that really make it a Note. First of all, the S Pen is improved, and you may be looking at it wondering, how do I get it out of the phone if it's embedded like that? Well, the stylus actually has a clicking button on the back, and it just clicks and pops out of the phone just like that. And it is an improved stylus made with more metal now. It has a little bit more weight to it. Still has a button and that multi-level sensitivity. And as a bonus, you can keep clicking it even when it's out of the phone. No functionality there, but it is kind of addicting. And the S Pen functionality itself is actually improved too. You can see the menu looks a little bit different when you take it out the phone. And going into and triggering the S Pen actions works the same with the improved pen. It just feels a little bit more natural to write on the screen. At the end of the day, I usually see all these features, and I use them a little bit when I first get the Galaxy Notes, but then I use them less and less as time goes on. But today, they showed me one feature that I really like and will definitely try to use more. You can bust out the stylus when the display is off, and then immediately start writing on the screen. So if you're ever in a bind and you heard something that you just have to write down, you have to just break out your phone and start to write it, the S Pen lets you write it down real quick, and when you put the pen back, it closes and saves that note. That is actually a really good idea. I like that. There's also stuff added to the Galaxy Note, improved ways to take taller screenshots and ways to annotate and share what you create with this pen. All of it makes sense, and all of that is what makes it a Note. But all the rest is in your brand new design. Also, I mentioned the phone is thinner with this new design, which means the battery, as I mentioned, is actually smaller than the last Galaxy Note at 3000 mAh and non-removable. Now, they do try to make up for this, and you can decide if it's a good enough replacement or not, with wireless charging and fast charging, and, get this, fast wireless charging. So Samsung's new wireless charging technology lets them get around 90% of normal fast charging wired speeds without the wire. I personally would rather still have a larger battery and a thicker phone. That's just me, but we'll have to see how good this battery lasts with the Quad HD display in the full review. And that's the real sentiment here. I didn't get to play with these phones for too much time, but I'm looking forward to getting my hands on them permanently for a full review experience, preferably in this darker titanium color, to test things like the battery life, to test the performance, to test things like the built-in YouTube live streaming directly from the camera app at up to 1080p. I mean, this seems like it's supposed to be a periscope killer, but I won't really know it until I try it. Certainly seems really convenient for people to live stream from their phones, especially since this is one of the best cameras in any smartphone. Not sure if I'm looking forward to testing this, though. what year is it again? But you know what, I'll give it that shot and actually try to use it before I dismiss it entirely.